Record high. Boom time is on Wall Street, another major milestone, while so many families wait for the rally to reach Main Street and put more money in their paychecks. Deadly school explosion during summer classes. People trapped inside, a search into the night. What happened? Legal immigration crackdown, the White House vowing to go beyond illegal immigration and tighten entry requirements, even favoring those who speak English. NBC News exclusive. Behind closed doors, a dramatic confrontation in the Situation Room. President Trump lashing out over Afghanistan, leaving top advisors stunned. And seeking justice, a man who helped set himself free, now from the other side of the table, helping free others who've been wrongly convicted. Nightly News begins right now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening, everyone. We're glad you're here this evening. The stock market's spectacular ride carried it to a new record today as the Dow shot past the 22,000 mark for the first time. It's one sign of an economy that's hitting on many cylinders. Good news for Wall Street and certainly for folks with 401ks and retirement dollars in the market. It can be easy to forget, however, that a lot of working people are still staring into near empty wallets and are feeling left out of today's celebration because salaries are lagging behind. Our business correspondent, Jolene Kent, has the bigger picture for us tonight.
With today's record, the Dow is now up 20% since President Trump was elected. That's the story of one economy, while many Americans feel like they're living in another.
Why are you here at Amazon?
I was originally working retail, and it just, wasn't enough money.
Frustration shared today in 12 states as thousands of people lined up at Amazon job fairs, all hunting for work. Like nearly half of Americans, Clarence Williamson doesn't have a single dollar in the stock market. His economic indicator, his paycheck.
I've worked at the airport for probably about the last 5 years. Within the last 5 years, the wages at the airport, nowhere near what they should be.
Williamson is talking about wage growth, or the lack of it. Because while the stock market hit new highs, GDP is growing and housing prices are at record levels, wages are only up by 0.5 percentage point.
Consumer spending makes up something around 2/3 of the economy. If wage growth is slow and people just aren't spending the dollars, you're not going to see continued economic growth.
So you decide to check in.
Okay. That's why so many applied to Amazon, which aimed to hire 50,000 people today. And the hiring goes beyond retail. In Colorado, Terry Precht wants to grow his workforce by 10%, but says foreign competition makes raising wages hard.
I'm not just competing with the guy down the road. I'm competing with people, 5,000 miles away who have a labor pool much larger than mine, but also at a much lower price.
A frustrating reality for working America, facing an economy far removed from Wall Street.
Jolene Kent joins us now in the studio. Don't mean to be a pessimist, but we've seen these things. Sometimes you realize there's nothing to it and the numbers don't support it. What we saw on the Dow today, is that real?
The fundamentals are strong, Lester. We do see that jobs are growing, corporate earnings are good. Wall Street not bothered by the drama in Washington. So until the Fed starts aggressively raising rates or those pillars start to crack, this market is likely and could very well continue.
Jolene Kent, good to have you. Thank you. Tonight, search crews in Minneapolis are working into the night trying to find a school employee still missing and feared dead after a massive explosion ripped through a historic school building during summer classes, killing at least one person and injuring at least 9 others, trapping people inside. NBC's Blake McCoy is on the scene of the school emergency.
A massive explosion shattering the late morning quiet in this Minneapolis neighborhood.
We also see flames and fire and building collapse as well.
A school, the historic Minnehaha Academy, torn apart by the blast. Those inside for summer classes scrambling to get out, some holding on to each other in the darkened wreckage, finding their way to safety and into the arms of loved ones.
I felt like we got bombed. It was pretty big. It was a pretty big explosion.
9 people were rushed to the hospital. One school employee found dead beneath the rubble. Ruth Berg, a longtime assistant in the school office. Tonight, rescue crews are combing through the debris, trying to find another adult still missing.
We need the gas company to respond as well to shut off the gas to this property.
Early on, officials suspected and later confirmed the cause.
We have been able to confirm that the collapse was caused by a gas explosion.
The blast sliced the brick building in half, scattering debris all over campus. Firefighters still monitoring hotspots tonight. Trauma for this tight-knit community, home to the school since 1913.
I believe we're going to be even stronger. We're going to tie ourselves together, come in and build something stronger.
The man missing is an 81-year-old school custodian. Work continues to reach him in the rubble behind me. As for the company contracted to work on this building at the time it exploded, they send their thoughts and prayers to all involved. Lester?
Blake McCoy tonight. Blake, thank you. To the White House now, President Trump today throwing his support behind a plan to profoundly change immigration policy in this country. It would slash legal immigration by half over a decade with strict new conditions that have some critics up in arms. NBC News national correspondent Peter Alexander has details.
President Trump tonight vowing to dramatically cut legal immigration by prioritizing English-speaking immigrants with skills that help grow the economy.
This competitive application process will favor applicants who can speak English, financially support themselves and their families, and demonstrate skills that will contribute to our economy.
The president's proposal going beyond a campaign promise to crack down on illegal immigration.
These illegal workers draw much more out from the system than they can ever possibly pay back.
Mr. Trump's message tonight reinforced by one of his top aides.
We're saying our compassion, first and foremost, is for struggling American families.
Senior policy advisor Stephen Miller clashing with reporters.
I just want to say,
it sounds like you're trying to engineer the racial and ethnic flow of people into this country.
Jim, that is one of the most outrageous, insulting, ignorant, and foolish things you've ever said.
The new bill, backed by two conservative Republican senators, already facing fierce backlash on Capitol Hill.
The biggest flaw in this proposal is the notion that there are long lines of Americans waiting to pick fruit and to work in hospitals and hotels and restaurants and meat processing plants. Exactly the opposite's true.
This immigration proposal is not going to go anywhere because it really would devastate the economy.
The president trying to get back on message with his base, drawing a hard line on immigration.
Tonight, the president insists the proposal, if passed, would be the most significant change to the nation's immigration system in half a century. But saying it and doing it are two very different things for a president still waiting for his first legislative victory. Lester?
Peter Alexander at the White House. Thank you. Regarding Russia, the president today did reluctantly sign new sanctions punishing that country for its interference in the 2016 election. Congress overwhelmingly passed those sanctions, which also restrict the president's power to lift them. Despite calling the sanctions, quote, seriously flawed, the president says he signed them today for the sake of national unity. Russia's prime minister today said that it signals a, quote, full-scale trade war. Amid heightened tensions on another global front, North Korea, the U.S. made a dramatic show of force overnight, test launching an intercontinental ballistic missile from California, the fourth this year. The unarmed missile traveled over 4,000 miles into the South Pacific, according to officials. This comes after North Korea tested two of its own ICBMs last month, including one on Friday, which analysts say could strike a wider range of the U.S. mainland. Now to an NBC News exclusive, revealing President Trump's growing dissatisfaction with America's military strategy in Afghanistan. Just today, 2 U.S. service members were killed when their NATO convoy came under attack, reportedly by a suicide bomber. The Taliban have claimed responsibility. Tomorrow, the National Security Council is scheduled to meet and discuss changing the U.S. strategy in Afghanistan. But the last time they met, things got very heated, the president blasting his own advisors. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Hallie Jackson has an inside look at what happened in that room.
Tonight, an exclusive look behind the closed doors of the Situation Room at an increasingly frustrated president, agitated with his military on Afghanistan, even as he delays a decision on a new strategy in a fight his top generals describe as a stalemate. Senior administration officials take NBC News inside that meeting 2 weeks ago, where the president's key advisors surrounded him, including Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis. Those sources say the president lashed out, suggesting Mattis should fire the general in charge of Afghanistan, venting, quote, "We aren't winning," influenced, it seemed, by a meeting he'd had earlier with veterans of the Afghan war. Those same sources tell NBC News some in the room were taken aback by an analogy the president made, referencing the renovation of a favorite New York restaurant led by an outside consultant to illustrate how those on the ground might make better decisions than those at higher levels.
His point was perhaps it would have been better if that owner had gone to the employees who are working in the restaurant rather than hired someone from the outside, and it's wasted a lot of money.
Those officials say the president also seemed annoyed China, not the U.S., is making money mining rare minerals in Afghanistan. Sources tell NBC News the president left the meeting without deciding on a strategy, and that his advisors left stunned.
Officials close to Secretary Mattis said that when he returned to the Pentagon after the meeting, he was visibly angry, and he went for a long walk by himself to think it over.
Now, questions of the president's confidence in his own team. MSNBC's Hugh Hewitt with the National Security Advisor.
Do you have confidence yourself in General Nicholson, the combatant commander in Afghanistan?
Of course. I've known him for many years. I can't imagine a more capable commander on any mission.
Does Secretary Mattis, does the president?
Absolutely.
The Pentagon says Mattis does have confidence in Nicholson's leadership. The White House declined to comment on internal deliberations about Afghan strategy, but said no decision has been made, with options still being developed. Bottom line, for America's longest war, the wait for a new plan stretches on. Hallie Jackson, NBC News, the White House.
Now to a remarkable story we want to share with you. It's been said that living well is the best revenge, and you might agree after meeting the man in this next story who fought back from a terrible injustice armed with knowledge and tenacity. He turned the tables on the justice system with an improbable journey that changed his life and now is changing the lives of others. Attorney Jarrett Adams wants to right wrongs.
I can shake your hand. They can't keep me from doing that.
In a Wisconsin jail, he meets with his client, whom he believes was wrongfully convicted of rape. He hopes the judge will now free him after 30 years behind bars.
We hope everything will go well, and we're able to just see you walk out of here tomorrow.
Jarrett is not your typical defense attorney. In fact, you could say he knows the law from the inside out.
Although I received my diploma from Loyola Law School in Chicago, I started law school in Green Bay Correctional Facility.
Jarrett was wrongfully convicted himself. He was 17 when he was arrested, accused of sexually assaulting a student at the University of Wisconsin, a crime he denied from the start.
In these cases, there's always that moment of, this will get cleared up very quickly.
You know, my only encounter with the criminal court system was Law and Order. And that theme music comes on, you don't see guys who are wrongfully convicted go to prison.
But Jarrett did, a 28-year sentence, convicted after his court-appointed attorney chose not to put on a defense, even though there was a witness who could have helped clear him.
When this guy is telling us, look, we know you didn't do it, they haven't proven their case, the best defense is a no defense strategy. We're like, yeah, that sounds good, because we don't know any better, right? But in reality, it was a horrible idea.
A cellmate convinced Jarrett to keep fighting. Jarrett spent his days in the prison law library. He wrote letters and finally caught the attention of the Wisconsin Innocence Project. Keith Finley took up his case.
He had done his homework. He knew the case factually better than anybody, and he knew the law. He said, look, the issue we're going to win on is that ineffective assistance of counsel claim. You got to lead with that. You got to argue that.
Jarrett was correct. It was the argument that caused the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn his conviction. After nearly 10 years in prison, Jarrett was free, reminded, though, by a family photo album of what he'd lost.
I started to just look at the evolution of me as a kid, just, you know, growing up, pre-K, kindergarten, graduation, birthdays, and then I turned the next page, and I didn't see another picture of me until I was 26, 27 years old.
It's like a piece of your life just was erased.
Just forever gone.
But Jarrett's remarkable and at times ironic journey was just beginning. He went to college, graduated law school, and clerked at the same court that tossed out his conviction. And then last summer was hired as a lawyer by the Innocence Project in New York, the same organization that successfully argued his appeal.
What must it be like for you to walk in these doors every day as an attorney?
There is no sweeter joy than to be on this side of the law.
His to-do list, freeing other wrongfully convicted inmates.